This is 7 National News, and in our top story, private sector employees in the UAE will have their working days reduced by 2 hours during Ramadan. The announcement was made in a statement from the Federal Authority for Government Human Resources, issued by His Excellency Sakir Gobash, the Minister of Human Resources and Emiratization. Working hours for the public sector, which were announced on Sunday, will be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. throughout the holy month, although companies are not required to follow the same timings as the public sector. School hours will also be shortened across the country as Ramadan overlaps with the last days of the academic calendar, with thousands of school pupils sitting critical examinations such as the ACT or A-levels during Ramadan this year. The last day of school for pupils will be June the 23rd. And the length of time for fasting during Ramadan in the UAE is expected to continue to be longer than previous years. That's according to officials from the Sharjah Planetarium. In a statement issued by Emirates news agency WAM recently, Ibrahim Al-Jawan, the general supervisor at the planetarium, said that the new moon of Ramadan will appear on June the 5th at around 6:59 a.m. UAE time, but it will disappear at around 7:25 p.m. or 17 minutes after sunset of the same day, adding that the fasting time will reach a maximum of 15 hours and 10 minutes during the holy month. Al-Jawan, who is also a researcher in astronomy, pointed out that despite the low height of the new moon of Ramadan, it can still be seen with advanced devices. Ramadan is expected to start on June the 6th, and throughout the 4 weeks, temperatures are expected to remain at an average of 42 and 43 degrees Celsius across the country. The fasting time has increased by 10 minutes every Ramadan since 2012, with long periods of fasting happening every 33 years. Since 2012, the hours of fasting during Ramadan in the UAE have been the longest recorded, and astronomers expect these hours of daylight to continue until 2018. Residents of the eastern coast of the country will be the first to break and start their fast, while those living in the western region and the Emirate of Abu Dhabi will be the last. The Middle Eastern region requires a policy innovation in order to safeguard the future of its youth, while also ensuring a long-term societal impact. That's according to panelists speaking during the 13th CSR Summit. Around 100 HR professionals, philanthropists and representatives of NGOs attended the 2-day forum, which was rebranded for this year's edition as Tafir, which means impact, influence and creating in Arabic. Throughout the 2-day summit, panelists and CSR experts emphasised the importance of moving away from traditional philanthropic and charitable donations towards long-term strategic social impact. Among the speakers included the CEO of Holt Prize Foundation, who is also a member of the UNDP Advisory Board, Ahmad Al-Ashgar. While sharing his recommendations, it was added that governments and private entities should collaborate to foster entrepreneurship among the youth, as youth employment, currently at around 27% in the region, continues to be a major challenge. Through an improved environment for enterprises, the region can benefit in the long term through better job creation, while also improving employability of the young generation.
The ecosystem development is so important because one founder of one company will hire 7 or 8 kind of co-founders or founding employees. Those employees will then go on to create other companies. And that's what we're missing here in the Middle East. And if you look at the story of Silicon Valley, you see it's very clear. It was one company with 8 initial employees. Those 8 initial employees went on to create the future infrastructure of Silicon Valley, which in less than 60 years has now launched 60 companies worth over $2.1 trillion in economic value. In the Middle East, we lack the first step, which is having an abundance of entrepreneurs try. And that's what we really need to begin encouraging, and we need to do it through policy innovation, risk-free capital, and celebrating the successful stories that we do have from entrepreneurs.
Meanwhile, senior representatives of large organisations such as Cisco and Nestle stated that corporations should move away from allocating a specific budget for CSR initiatives and rather continue to measure the impact of their sustainable activities. Innovative youth strategy was identified as among the key recommendations to nurture the employability as well as skills and expertise of future leaders. During the forum, Nestlé announced the launch of their Alliance for Youth, which aims to hire 65 interns through their graduate development programme. The Alliance also aims to offer more job opportunities for university students through outreach programmes.
Yes, this has started a couple of years ago in Europe and had a very positive impact in the European Union. And we want to spearhead the same in the Middle East because we all know the level of unemployment. In fact, many may not realize how high the unemployment level within youth is in the Middle East. And we really feel that it's part of creating shared value to help young adults to become more easily employable.
The UAE has recorded fewer human trafficking cases in 2015 than in previous years, thanks to rapid prosecution and a countrywide multilingual awareness campaign. The figures were revealed in an annual report by the National Committee to Combat Human Trafficking. It showed that in 2015 there were 17 cases of human trafficking involving 24 victims and the arrest of 54 traffickers. In 2012, 47 cases were recorded involving 75 victims and 149 traffickers. Of the 2015 offenders, 10 were from Dubai, 2 were from Abu Dhabi and 2 were from Sharjah, while the remaining 3 were from Ajman, Fujairah and Ras Al Khaimah. Officials from the committee stated that the statistics suggest growing awareness about human trafficking among the public and intensifying countermeasures adopted by various official agencies, ministries and non-government organisations involved in tackling crime. The UAE government has also tackled the issue through a multilingual awareness campaign, a toll-free helpline number for victims and informers, newspaper adverts aimed at victims and traffickers, an anti-human trafficking course for law enforcement officers, and almost 300,000 dirhams from the fund for victims dispersed to victims. Pregnant women are being warned about the potential dangers of drinking too much coffee, following a study linking caffeine with underweight and stillborn babies. The findings from the University of Ajman's clinical pharmacy department are from a study of 97 expectant mothers in Al Ain who consumed varying quantities of caffeine, with 61.9% regularly drinking coffee, 34% tea and 4.1% soft drinks during pregnancy. According to the findings, caffeine can affect the body's ability to absorb iron, bringing an added risk of anemia in pregnant women, as well as an abnormal maternal heart rate and increased blood pressure. Caffeine is commonly found in chocolate, black and green tea, and many soft drinks, but also in some body lotions used to treat stretch marks. While coffee is a cultural cornerstone of UAE life, doctors have warned that the intake needs to be monitored during pregnancy, advising a daily limit of 200 milligrams or around 2 cups of brewed coffee. According to a Euromonitor report, the UAE is one of the fastest growing coffee consumers. After an 85% growth in sales between 2004 and 2009, the forecast was for sales growth to continue at 80% between 2009 and 2014. 2 draft laws, one protecting the welfare of wild animals and the other controlling their ownership, are expected to be passed by the Federal National Council. According to local reports, an FNC committee has been revising the draft bills since the beginning of the year, with amendments to the 2007 Animal Welfare Law expected to ensure that animal health and well-being is being preserved, as well as protecting them from exploitation. The updated law would also cover the scientific use of animals and the quality of their shelters. The FNC committee that discussed the new draft has called to add a ban on private ownership of wild animals to the law to avoid abuse and trafficking, with a range of fines from 10,000 to 500,000 dirhams for offenders, with jail terms as another option. And finally, looking to other news now, Dubai is ready to host the world's top squash players during the World Series finals, which will be held in Dubai for the first time. The stage is all set for action to kick off from Tuesday the 24th of May at the squash court, which has been especially set up at the Burj Park, overlooking the world's tallest tower, the Burj Khalifa. The best 8 players from the men's and women's categories have qualified for the World Series finals after a competitive season throughout the year, as they're all set to go ahead for a total prize purse of $160,000. It starts off with a round-robin league, with each player competing in 3 matches, with 2 players with the most points in each group to advance to the semi-finals. Among the players likely to be crowned champion of the Road to Dubai contest include top seed Laura Massaro, who failed to win the final of the 2016 Women's World Championships, losing her #1 spot to Egypt's Noor El Shabini. Meanwhile, another player looking to impress during the Dubai outing is 3-time world champion and winner of 33 career titles, Nick Matthew, who has had an injury-plagued season so far.
Although obviously disappointing to lose in the final of the World Championships, it was a really good week for me, positive overall. Back to playing for major titles again, which is where I want to be, and playing some of my best squash out there, and that's all I can really ask of myself and expect of myself. So although it wasn't to be on the day, you know, I'm really excited to see my form returning to some of the best that it's been, and excited to hopefully bring that into this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight into playing Miguel Rodriguez from Colombia, probably the world's fastest player. Incredibly tough opener. Normally in a tournament you get to play possibly a qualifier or a slightly lower ranked player, and not that there's any easy matches, but you can sort of ease your way in a little bit more than playing someone who's 5 in the world first round. So incredibly tough start, but that's what these finals are all about, you know, fast-paced squash from the word go.
Dubai will play host to the competition for the first time and has been contracted to be the final venue for the World Tour for the next 3 years. According to the Secretary-General of Dubai Sports Council, the tournament has cemented Dubai's position as a year-round sporting destination. Tickets for the tournament start at 25 dirhams per session for general entry and can be purchased both online and at the door.
This is one of the locations which is going to remain here for 3 years. Of course, maybe this time we're playing here, but next we are going to play in the Opera House, which is, I think, so one of the biggest and important location in the Burj Khalifa. I think so everyone going to be seeing the opening side of when they're opening the Opera House in Dubai is designed like a bow of the ship, which is good for us because I'm from the seaside. I like the design, but definitely Opera is a very unique location, and definitely we are lucky to have this tournament. Next will be in Opera House.